Yo, what's going on, gamers? So CS2 decided to drop 3 new maps, 2 returning from CSGO being Train and Basalt, and a brand new map called Eden. Today I'm going to be showing you guys a bunch of movement on these maps, as well as just kind of having a general discussion about the way that CS2 is moving forward as a game. Before I do that, I just want to thank the sponsor of this video, CSGOLuck.com, the fastest growing CSGO. Alright, so first we're going to be talking about Basalt. This is one of the new maps that they added to CS2, and god, let me tell you, the vibes on this map are immaculate. Just the background scenery, the ambience, you hear these sirens going off and sometimes thunder crackling in the back. And you're kind of just in this small isolated village. It's really cool. I absolutely love it, and I must say this map is probably the best movement map out of the 3 maps. Now you might think that Train has the best movement, but it doesn't, because yeah, we're gonna have to get into that one after I talk about my new child Basalt here. Alright, so to start off, Basalt kind of feels like a mix of a lot of maps that we already have. There's some verticality in this map, and there's also a lot of uneven ground, which you might think is really bad, but there's also a lot of even ground, which, as you know, helps with b-hopping. So one of the standout routes to me the first time I played this map is this double vent hop. This is really cool. Like, you have one window here and then another window here that kind of takes you out into mid. This is just awesome. Like, out of T spawn, you have this route right here, and this is also like an inverse route here. You can go through the vent hop like that. So if you're on CT side, or say you're just rotating in general, either team, you have this little vent hop here, which I think is really cool. A good example of what I'm talking about is this area right here. This is CT spawn, so if I switch to CT right now, this is exactly where I spawn, and it just gives you alternate ways to tackle how you want to do things. So if you're just playing this game, you run up the stairs, you know, come into this building, whatever. Or if you're feeling a little funky, you can come up on this rock and then come in this way. But there's also just other ways to do things, you know, like you can strafe to this rock and then you can b-hop off of the ledge. Like, you can stand on top of where these railings are and then come through here. Like, that map design right there is beautiful, and I'd love to see that in Counter-Strike. You don't see that a lot on a lot of other maps. Also in mid, you have this little route right here. You can get up like this from those little planters to rotate over to B. And you also have something right here on this van. You can actually just climb up it this way. So this is A site, and A site is honestly the same level as good as B. I'd actually think that A site's a little bit better. You have a route starting here, across here into here. And this is actually good because one team can actually funnel through here, and it's kind of often that they do. If you're a CT, there might be Ts here pushing, and you would probably actually have a timing on them if they're setting up. From reverse, you could also do something like this. You can actually land up on top of there if you strafe correctly, and you can also crouch jump to the top of this Jeep like this, and then like that. So the movement, just overall on this map, the b-hopping is just so sick. I love it. Alright, so this is B side on Basalt, and I really like the design of this site. It's indented in the middle with this grass here with these 2 boxes, and then everything is kind of surrounded by concrete. So there are routes on this site. There's really one main one here. So you can b-hop into a JB, and then on top of this box, I'll play it right here. Other than that, you don't really have much going on. You can get boosted up on top of this box, but you can't really go anywhere else from here. If I had to assume, you could probably do some crazy LJ to that, or JB maybe again from that original route I posted over to that thing. And the same deal over here. You can get up on this box via a boost, but you can't go anywhere else from here, but it's a nice little hold spot. On your way to B from T side, you have this little double hop up here, which is a nice little jump peak if you hit the B hops. You also have this little peak spot right here, and you can kind of strafe around onto this thing. You could probably do something like maybe have a teammate right here, and then like run boost by jumping on his head here, and then onto that thing and off, or like around this corner or something cool like that. But yeah, so that's B side for you. If I had to give an overall rating to this map, I'd probably give it like an 8 out of 10. For one, the aesthetics are just insane. The ambience on this map and just the overall design is beautiful. And also it just kind of reminds me of like Mirage in a way, and Inferno weirdly. But the mix of the other CS maps and this map is really nice. I do really enjoy it. Alright, so next up I wanted to talk about Train. This map is a little interesting, but after a day of playing it, I can say that it's actually not too bad. In comparison to CSGO's train, it's not as good, but we'll get into that. Alright, so out on A here, as you can see, it's a lot more open than it was before. The main difference is that the train isn't here anymore. It's on a diagonal slant here, and just the overall spacing is a lot wider. But I wouldn't say it's necessarily bad, and overall, I kind of like this design a little bit more than I like the other train, literally because of this. This train is surfable, which I think is just really interesting. And I'm really glad they added something in like this. You can basically surf the whole thing on both sides, and you can also ladder strafe off onto the surf. It's just so satisfying to do, and that is awesome. I'm really glad that they gave us something like that. Another thing to note is that a lot of these windows and walls are actually wall bangable and do go into places. So as you can see, this is kind of like that upper area for T's, and you can wall bang this. And you can also wall bang into B site from here as well, which I think is really cool. Minor things about the A site platform is that the ledges around the edge are gone, which kind of sucks because you can't edge bug. And also you have to come off of A to get around to the other side, whereas before you'd kind of just be able to walk around, which is kind of a bummer, but I don't really think it's that much of a design change to make it bad, but it's just kind of interesting, I guess. This, on the other hand, this is a bad design. I don't know why they did this, and I don't think it's going to stay like this, but heaven is gone. But there's a room here, which makes me think that they're probably going to add in a heaven later on, kind of like what they did to Vertigo and some of the other maps. Like, you know, if you've seen what Nuke went through over years in CSGO, I bet you they're going to kind of give another rebirth to this heaven area here. And I always thought that heaven on train was really cool because it was like the second one hop of the game. So on Nuke you have the A heaven one hop, and on this one you could like go up the ladder and out the window onto A site, which I thought was really sick, but can't do it anymore, which I think is just kind of a bummer. But yeah, speaking of missing ladders, there's no more ladder in here either. You can't go up this way. Once again, I don't like that. If anything, they should just have this hallway as well as that ladder, because it just gives players options, which is that thing that I was talking about on Basalt, where it's just like, why not? You know what I mean? Add it in, give players another way to traverse your map. Everything on B side has kind of been compact, and it's also missing a train. So there used to be a train right here, and also this used to be like a way wider gap, like you wouldn't be able to jump from here. Also the B side platform, you'd have two boxes here, the same one on A that kind of had some cool movement to it, like you could edge bug it, and it was just kind of way cooler than these pillars. I don't know, this kind of reminds me of something out of like Call of Duty or like Valorant or something, but yeah, overall I don't mind the redesign. I do think it's a little bit stripped down from what it used to be, but I do also really like it. Things that I do really like is the fact that on B Heaven here, this has been blocked off. This is just great for CTs trying to retake. It blocks this vision off. It also creates a route that just didn't exist before. You can do 2 B hops all the way across, kind of around this thing on this train here, and it's just kind of neat. And you can also do it like in inverse, B hop like this, and then maybe do something cool like edge bug that, or like this or something like that. But yeah, it creates some new routes that just weren't there before, so that's a big up. In the same spot, there's also a funky little surf. So if you jump towards this window here and then crouch at the right time, you can get caught in between the train and some clipping, and you'll just kind of surf along, and then you could probably strafe into an edge bug here or do whatever. But yeah, that's pretty cool. This whole train is surfable, but the surf is just terrible in my opinion. It's so far down the train, and also it's like very buggy. You'll get caught on like random things, but this whole train is surfable if you want to give it a shot. This area by the upper entrance into B has also been changed. This ladder has been shortened and also pushed out to create another cubby area in here. I actually do like this change in comparison to the old one. There's a skill strafe now off of this ladder here, which I think is pretty neat. And yeah, overall, like, I don't mind this design at all, but it does feel a little bit stripped down and also kind of spaced out in comparison to the way that it was in CSGO. But it's weird that I say spaced out, but this is also compact at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. An overall rating for train would be like a 7 out of 10. My original rating was a 4, but after playing it for a day, I definitely have swapped out. The aesthetic on this map is great. It's the first rainy map on Source 2, and as you can see, like, my op is rained on, my knife is rained on, my gloves. Like, it's just so cool, and it kind of gives that next gen feeling to this game, like what Source 2 was really supposed to be. And I really hope we get more maps like this. But yeah, I'd give this an overall 7 out of 10. It's kind of stripped down from what it used to be in Go, but it's not a bad map at all, and it does have good movement potential. This is the last of the 3 competitive maps they added in this update. It's called Eden. I'm just going to say outright that it's pretty mid. I do like the design of it. You know, the vibes are pretty cool, but it's not something that really stands out like crazy, but I do enjoy it. So coming out of T-spawn here, you have this van. And if you hit it at the right spot, you can surf it, which I think is really cool, especially because the area that it goes into is kind of like influential to the map. This is mid here. Mid also has this kind of area here, which is kind of just nice. It's almost like a little KZ. You can Bhop like this, and then up here on this railing. So you can kind of do whatever you want in this area, but the one thing I will say is that out of the times that I played this map, this area is very contested, so hitting a route in here is going to be kind of hard, but it is really cool, and I dig it. I like this area a lot. B-site has some cool stuff to it. So this box right here, you can Bhop to this thing, and then you can maybe route off of this. I think that this would be a lot easier if you JB'd after hitting this jump right here. You could probably carry your momentum better. And there's a little funky thing here that I found the first time I played this map. If you hold the pixel surf bind on this wall, you can actually just kind of sit on this invisible ledge. And I don't know why this works. And as soon as you let go of it and move, you'll just fall off. But you can Bhop off of it. So if someone can figure out some cool thing to do there, let me know, because I thought this was kind of cool. And I hope that they don't remove it. I think that this is a cool little spot you can get into. So as you can see, I made it all the way to that corner there. So you can kind of just sit on this invisible clipping here if you use the pixel surf bind, which I think is pretty cool. So coming out of CT, if you go to your right and head to this alt mid area, you got this area here, which I think is actually, it's not too bad. It's a little bit bland, but at least you have a little something here. You got a little route that goes all the way up. And you also have some funny shops to look at. You got Touch Grass, which I think is pretty funny, and the Mark & Co. Gold, Gold, Gold. Shout out Oni Pixel. But yeah, so overall, I would say that this map is like completely in the middle. It's not bad and it's not great. But overall, I will say that all 3 of these maps at least offer something in the way of movement. And this is the last little area here. So you have like this kind of staircase and you can Bhop around and go through here. It's nothing special, but at least it's not like bad, you know? I do dig these maps a lot. In comparison to Mills, like to me, Mills was like a community-made map. It literally looked like it was made in Workshop, where these maps all feel very fleshed out and professionally done. So yeah. Overall, I think that this update was really good. The 3 new maps are great. There isn't really a miss in all of these. There's only like one mid map. Even the wingman maps are really good. And yeah, I hope I showed you guys some movement that maybe you didn't know about and just kind of gave an honest review of the maps. This content style is very different than what I'm used to, so I kind of want to see how this one does. Outside of that, I do have more videos on these maps coming out. I'm going to do like a dedicated routes video for all of the maps, kind of in like a smooth, just with music in the background type of way, like I did for Thera. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my videos, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Peace.